Welcome to the Marnese Live Talk Show. Tonight, we will continue our Summer Love series as we will talk to 7 Black men about their perspectives about love, marriage, patriarchy, being a Black man in general. So tonight, we have Michael, Kiyoshi, Kenyon, Delma, Michael, Donya, Jason, and Kiyoshi. So let's welcome them all into the Marnese Live Talk Show. About their perspective, marriage, patriarchy, being a Black man in general. Hey.
What's going on?
Welcome
Yes.
Welcome to the Marnese Live Talk Show.
Yes.
What's going on?
What's up? Our pleasure. What's up, y'all?
All right. So happy Thursday to you all, and it's nice to see you all again. And so we're going to go ahead and get into the conversation because this is an hour-long show, and we want to make sure that we get into all the different topics that we're going to talk about. So welcome, and thanks for being here. So
Pleasure is mine. Blessings.
So to continue with this Black Love series and talking about self-love, can we all just go around and say, of course, our name again, and where are you located? And second of all, and what is being Black and self-love mean to you? And
We going in order or what?
No, you can go ahead and go. You feel compelled?
I'm trying to say, can y'all hear me, man?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Russell. Pop it off.
All right, so I guess I'll start it off. I am Russ Rabb, and I am in Los Angeles, California. And your question was, you want us to answer that now?
Oh yeah.
What Black love is to me?
Yeah. What does having Black self-love to you? Being a Black man.
I'm gonna just make it real short and sweet. Having Black love is having love for myself and for my people, where we come from, where we are, and where we're going.
All right, thanks. All right, Donya, you look like you're ready to pop in there.
Hey, first off, I want to say this. I changed my background, man. I just want y'all to see my background. I came back for everybody that know.
Representing that M. I love that maize and blue.
Flat out.
Hey, I'm wearing. Hey, look at my tie. I that's got to represent the mitten.
Flat out. Hey, but I don't know. Black self-love to me, man. Lately in my life, it's been kind of pretty real, and I gotta say, I realized that us Black men, we don't emotionally take care of ourselves, and to me, self-love means that. When we were young and stuff like that, when we were little lads and stuff, man, you know how we were. We had a lot of traumatic situations and stuff like that, or sometimes as Black men, we out here trying to take care and save the whole world, if I can say, you know what I'm saying? Family, friends, and stuff like that. We neglect, our own selves, our mental state, emotional state, spiritual state, and trying to grind, getting caught up in work, daily lives, all that stuff, and we don't take time out. Like me, I just really start kind of shopping for myself, buying new stuff. I ain't really threw nothing on yet, but I feel good, you know what I'm saying? So really, I self-love, Black self-love me, because Caucasian people do this, They take little trips and vacation. Me and my wife, we went to Cali just to get away, for both of us, together and separately, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like a little spiritual rejuvenation thing. So
thank you.
Self-love to me means that, man.
Thank you, Donya. All right.
I got one. I got you. Okay, so
Love it.
I'm Jason Brown. Everybody knows me as Soprano-Que.
Singer.
You don't even know my real name. Welcome. So Black self-love. I'm in Detroit, Michigan. You might even be able to see the background of Detroit in the background. That's
D-Town.
The D.
Downtown.
Home away from home.
Yeah.
Hey, LA, you remember LA?
Black self-love to me is basically being able to look in the mirror and say, I'm all right with that. If you can go in the mirror, COVID-19 is real, and people call it the COVID-15 because you're gonna gain at least 15. So
right.
You know,
Right.
even if you're not working out or whatever you're doing, you still can go in and look in the mirror and say, all right, I'm still that. That's me. You know, regardless of your past and where you've been and how you're doing now, you know, financial situation, unemployment, employment, you know, people getting their unemployment checks and you still essential and you feel like, man, I should have took the furlough, you know, but you still, you know, you okay with yourself and you say, all right, well, listen, I still get up every morning. I still make it to the day, through the day. And, you know, Black self-love is basically saying, all right, I can look at myself and say, all right, I'm all right with that.
All right. Thank you so much. Soprano-Que.
So he's saying,
Donya, hold on. We're going to go to Kiyoshi, Delma, and Michael, and Kenyon. We're going to make sure they get into the conversation. We got time.
So I would like to jump in and say that for myself, I think I might be the only one on the call that's from the South. And right now, things are a little bit different right here. And right now with everything that's going on. And so for me, it goes back to history and saying that I am because we are and we are because I am. So I can't identify myself outside of my collective whole as of us being people. And so Black self-love for me is not just me loving me, it's me loving others as well. So I have to include my community and my love for myself.
Okay.
Love it.
All right. Kiyoshi, did you want to go ahead and chime in?
Yeah. What's up, y'all? My name is Kiyoshi Shelton. Mainly represent San Diego, California. I actually just moved here this week back to Ypsilanti/Ann Arbor, Michigan for a couple months. Then I'll be heading back to the West Coast. But yeah, Black self-love to me is really, you know, fully embracing all aspects of ourselves, you know, mind, body, soul, our well-being. Like my man said, Donya, you know, really from an emotional standpoint, a lot of us neglect our emotions, and there's a lot of more awareness coming up in the social arenas regarding, you know, mental health. And I think that's really important. So just, you know, acknowledging all aspects, you know, we all go through traumas in general, and there's a lot of things that a lot of times we, you know, bypass or want to sweep under the carpet, but it's really just even the darker shit, you know, our history, the goods and the bads, like embracing all that, really loving ourselves, loving our people, where we come from, and realizing that we are way more beautiful than the media portrays us, and just fully loving all the beautiful aspects of ourselves and our individual aspects as well. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Well said.
Thank you.
Well said.
I'll jump in. Good evening, everyone. Delma Jackson. I am coming out of Flint, Michigan.
Flintstone. Right. Flintstone. I love it. Right. I love it.
I got family in Flint. Oh, man.
Ah, nice. Yeah, I haven't heard a damn thing I disagree with. So I guess the only thing I add to it, if I can, is just to say I think a big part of Black love is really pushing ourselves to accept ourselves as we are in all of our variety. You know, we look a lot of different ways, talk a lot of different ways, the various faith communities, sexualities, gender expressions, illicit and illegal, the legal, you know, like we come from so many different places and hold so many different roles. And I think if you about this Black life, then it don't leave a whole lot of space for debate or you in, but you out. I like you, but not you. And you know what I mean? So just really having a holistic approach to both ourselves as individuals, as many people have mentioned, but also as a community.
Thank you. And Kenyon, Mr. Johnson.
Dope.
All right. Born and raised on the south side of Flint, Michigan. Black bottom for life. To all my, you know, for the folks that's watching on Facebook, yeah, I'm a Flintstone to the bone. Currently in Kingsport, Tennessee. That's pretty much northeast Tennessee range. I'm close to Virginia, to the Virginia border. Pretty much as far as like self-love, man, it's just basically just knowing your past, knowing your present, so that way in order for you to know where you're going,
you know, in the future. I'm a firm believer in mind over matter, you know, and I'm definitely a firm believer in having, you know, faith, more so supernatural faith as you get older, you know, dealing with, you know, society and things of that nature. And basically, you know, to make a long story short, man, just be unapologetic with your Africanisms, you know, because we all have it one way or the other, as far as like whatever gifts and talents. Just got to, you know, use those, key in and tune into whatever gifts that you're blessed with, and use it to uplift, you know, for the most part, because it's definitely needed, especially for us men of melanin. That's for sure.
Thank you.
Right.
So I wanted to switch gears a little bit, and right now we see, I mean, of course, structural institutional racism, oppression has always been here, but of course it's really seen on TV. COVID-19 has really exposed all the different oppressions with police brutality, with the health disparities, even environmental and climate impacts, right? Not having access to water or even healthcare causes issues within the Black community, right? So there's a perception that Black men do not don't really struggle with like self-love, self-esteem, self-confidence, and if y'all do, we don't know about it, right? You only hear women, usually hear women talking about it. So with all these different issues going on in the world, how are you navigating and monitoring yourself with self-care, self-love, and all these societal issues?
Well, I'd like to jump on that first. I think it goes back to, I believe, what Kenyon alluded to, or someone else actually said about being unapologetic in your Blackness. I feel everything, and I allow for myself to feel it, and I allow for myself to express it. And it doesn't matter the setting either. Even if I'm in a setting and it's full of European descended people, I'm not going to be silent if I feel rage towards something that's being said. And so I don't carry those feelings. I think that's one of the things we've been taught. And one of the things that over time, I think most men, whether we like it or not, or like to admit it or not, we learn that it's you got to express these emotions. Pressure busts a pipe. You know, so you got to say something. You got to express this. And if you notice, you look at men, old men, and you think they're grumpy and all this stuff. Now they just learn how to express themselves over time because they realize that mess will eat you up. Right. And so I think now that I'm starting to hit that like middle age point, I'm starting to really see what old folk really what they understood. They look for excuses to really be able to express themselves. You know, grandmama might say something out of whack, and then grandmama, baby, you know I'm old. You know, I told my wife when I got diagnosed with bifocals, that's it, baby. I'm living different now. I wear bifocals.
All right. Would anybody else like to add to that? Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say real quick, and keeping it in the realm of Black masculinity specifically, I would just offer that I think having spaces like this, having spaces where Black men can talk, spaces where we feel free to acknowledge what we don't feel like we have control over, what we feel anxious about, what we're scared of, et cetera, and feeling like you have a space where you know you're going to be accepted, where it's going to be received, validated, et cetera. I think that's key to grounding us. It's just having community.
I think you got a solid point there, Delma, and I think you got a very solid point there. But to tap onto that, I think that, you know,
Jason, you breaking up a little. I'm gonna go to Russell.
Okay.
See why he come back, because he's breaking up.
I think a lot of things goes down to the basis of what I'm gonna be talking about here is communication and knowledge, and a lot of things that we don't have. And I think with a lot of the ladies, when you have you have your yearly that you go to and all of that and get things checked out. Well, brothers don't really have that, so there's kind of a thing that you don't want to talk about nothing but communication. And that goes with your kids, your lady, whoever it is. And sometimes we have a problem with really communicating and letting people understand how we really and truly feel. Because if you say something a little bit left, then you may be looked at as the angry black man. Or if you say something that's a little too too sensitive, then you're perceived as a weak man. And I think that once we get over that and able to communicate effectively with one another, can help in passing that information and knowledge to others. If it's mental health, if it's physical health, what have you not. So that's what I think.
Yeah. Hey.
Beautiful.
Marnese, Russell just said something that I just wanted to pick up on real quick. I think that we are overlooking the oppression of women in our description of how we express ourselves or the lack thereof. Our black women are told the same things that we're told. If they express themselves and they're passionate, they're told that they're angry. If they cry, they're told they're too emotional. So they get the same thing, and it's all because of oppression. Oppression has told us, and white supremacy has told us to just take it, bend over and take it. And that's what they expect for us to do. And that's even why they're alarmed right now, because we've said, hell, we're tired of taking this.
Yeah.
Amen. I hear that.
And hold on, Jason. I want to get your point because you broke up, and then we're going to go to Donya and bring Kiyoshi and Kenyon back in.
All right. Well, I don't know what's going on with my little internet over here. But
that's flip internet right there, brother. That's flip internet.
We get this thing real quick. Xfinity.
It's all good, though.
But I was just saying, basically, it starts basically from, when we were raised, we were raised basically sheltered and, told, you can't be, or you can be this, that, and the other, but then you are always systematically talked down to or told that, okay, well, no, you're not about to, you can't get that far. So, I mean, and also, like you said, with, as far as women have been put into a position of extreme power now.
Yeah.
Over men. And I mean, I'm gonna call it the power of the PUSSY. So I mean, and men, if you express yourself to that woman, if you told you express yourself to that woman and you say some things that you might actually really feel, you are known as either weak, you labeled as thirsty, or you come off as a couple of other things that that basically make you retreat back to your old self and say, all right, well, I guess I'll just be a hardcore ass thug. I mean, and even though
yeah, for real. He's right.
Go ahead, Donya.
Yeah, for real, he's right. And it's crazy. I used to be in school, man, and I'm just a nice guy. My wife told me that. I used to try to be so cocaine, weed, all different type of stuff, man. And smoking cigarettes, and man, that stuff wasn't me, man. I'm just like my wife say, I'm just a nice guy. But in school and in society, our society and black society, it seemed like that's what the women wanted. They wanted this image of a thug that seemed tough and protect you, but I can protect you too. I can fight. You know what I'm saying? I might not win them all, goddamn. You know what I'm saying? But damn sure.
Man, nerds can fight, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So, and it be like that, man. And with women, like I think the Reverend said something about the women earlier, as far as them. What did he say? Like being put in a position, put in a position like
power.
Rabb said that we go through the kind of like the same thing that men go through, and it's all oppression. Jason said that we have a position of power.
That one, I don't think, especially black women, I don't think they go through the same thing. They don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't think so. I think they have their own, and it's on another scale, and you can't judge and say which one is more than the other. You have to play the middle ground. They have theirs and we have ours, you know, because we, like black men, like me, on jobs, y'all know, you've been on jobs, man, you deal with, it ain't even the white people that come in, that F you up like that. It be your own brother, you know what I'm saying? And he mad or jealous because maybe all the chicks in the plant like you, or maybe you a little smarter than, and they go tell, you know what I'm saying, the Caucasian people and stuff like that, man. It's, what I'm getting at is, man, I've been wanting to get to this point. Like, first, everything what we talking about now start off with us, like, right now. Like my man said it earlier, spaces like this, you know what I'm saying? Spaces like this. And we gotta learn how not to hate on each other. And then we all have different gifts. If you're a lawyer, you know what I'm saying, be the great lawyer. But I'm a doctor. Let me be a great doctor, you know what I'm saying? And if I be a doctor before you become a lawyer, support me in becoming a, you know what I'm saying, a doctor, and I'll raise you up. I said Nelly did that. Nelly stepped outside of his clique. You know, he shined and he pulled his boys up. You know, we don't do that. That's really where I want to get at, man.
All right. Keon and Kiyoshi, thank you, Donya. I appreciate it. But we're going to come back to, I understand we go through different things, but, you know, women are oppressed just like men, but it may be different. So, Kiyoshi,
I said that, but I said it's different. It ain't the same as me.
Well, if you're talking about the analogy with the job, I got black women hating on me, and they acting like the overseer at my job, for example.
Yeah, but women can get
universal. That's universal.
I'm talking about overall, like, you know, it's hard for a man to get a child support check. I'm just saying it's a lot of help.
Oh, okay. So we
don't. But then chicken all the way in.
Can I clarify my point real quick?
Hold on, we're gonna go to Kenyon and Kiyoshi so they can come into the conversation.
Okay.
No, what I'm gonna just add, you know, because everything that the brothers been saying, you know, for the most part is true, but it just boils down because I've been, you know, me personally, I've been watching a lot of old heads on YouTube, mainly Judge Joe Brown, because he's on quite a few of them. It just boils down to restoring manhood out here in society, you know. Yeah. When you look at certain stuff like in the media or on these TV shows or movies, man, they got us looking like sissies, you know what I'm saying? For the most part, you know, I use sissy. That's a politically correct term, you know, for the sake. But nah, it's just basically restoring manhood out here in these communities, you know, because we supposed to be the alpha male. So if you're gonna be the alpha male, of course, you know, you got some women, you know, that ain't gonna be willing to be submissive, you know, if they seeing that you ain't coming correct and handling business, doing whatever you got to do. And we all got our faults, you know, but when it comes to, you know, as far as like representing the community wise, and it's mainly, you know, for these younger generations, because I can speak for myself, being in my late 40s, I know I got to, you know, get things, you know, more better than what it is, and I'm willing to do it, and just got to embrace it. But then for the ones that's really gonna go that extra mile as far as like doing what needs to be done, you're gonna get targeted. You're gonna get targeted by all different, you know, angles, and you got to be willing to embrace it, accept it, and stay the course for the most part. You got to look at the big picture of things as far as like, you know, as far as like generations. Because you look at this younger generation now, hey man, to be honest, they out there, you know, compared to when I know how I was when I was like in my late teens, early 20s, and hell, even 30s, and with me being 46, I'm starting to really understand a lot of stuff is making a lot of sense as far as like the old heads, as far as like my upbringing. I came from a blue collar upbringing. I'm currently in the so-called professional world, you know, if you want to call it white collar, but I use it to my advantage, you know, as far as like the knowledge that I gained. But then it's just communication rules the nation. You know, what you say, you know, is not what you say, it's how you say it. But, you know, sometimes, you know, you got to try to avoid as many meltdowns and pick and choose what you want to entertain, so that way they ain't stereotyping you. labeling you for whatever, you know, was being portrayed out here as far as like the media. But it's definitely about restoring manhood. Once we restore manhood, all honesty, once we restore manhood, then everything else gonna fall in sync, so to speak. Especially with the woman, you know, because you gotta have them, you know. It's like the yin and the yang, so to speak, you know, because women gonna be women. I'm understanding that. The older I get, women gonna be women, no matter, you know, especially black women, you know. So you gotta know what you're dealing with, you know, to a certain extent. But then it's just sometimes you gotta just sit back and just keep your mouth shut and just lead by example, you know, for the most part.
All right, thank you, Kenya. And I have so many follow-up questions for you. I really do. Kiyoshi, all right.
Yeah, what's up?
And then Michael, we'll come to you, and I want to give a shout out to the people in the chat because they have actually a couple questions for you, Kenya. So
nice.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
You know?
all right.
I'm gonna be respectful though. All honesty, I'll be respectful. Bring it on.
Let's go to Kiyoshi.
I've been waiting for something like this for a good while.
You ready? Kenya, I'm ready.
Yeah. I'm a Flintstone, man. That's what we do.
Okay, so Kiyoshi.
I just want to piggyback on what all the gentlemen are saying. I think you guys are bringing up a lot of beautiful, valid points. Some common themes. What I'm hearing is, you know, restoring manhood, communication, community. These are like three huge themes that's very really, relevant in my life. You know, growing up as a man, is like, damn, in my relationships, how I show up in the world, my, you know, job, career, you know, as an artist, is like communication is key. It's like you have to listen. There's like so much. I got a communications degree at Eastern, but I'm still like learning so many different things in regards to communication. And then you have like the online platform. Now everybody's quarantined. Is like learn how to communicate online, in person. It's like, it's huge. With community, super huge. You know, I read a couple articles and different things in books where basically it was saying how amongst the top things that allow us to thrive and maintain a healthy well-being state of mind and mind, body, soul is like, you know, in addition to eating healthy diet, you know, working out, community is like up there. I didn't know that as a young kid. And also the statistics regarding, you know, loneliness, you know, and how many people, and men specifically, feel lonely or not a sense of support from the community is huge. Like,
or even a family for the most part, in some cases.
Right.
And especially the black families, especially black families.
Yeah. Exactly. So, right. So that's what I'm just saying. Like, there's like a lot of statistics with everything that we're all saying, and what you gentlemen are saying. Communication, community, huge. Restoring manhood. You know, I learned how I wasn't really showing up in my grounded nature of, you know, how a grounded, solid man should be. You know, and there's many things I learned. And I was telling my father yesterday, like, man, you know, you're a black dude and you're a positive example, you know, educated over 40 plus years and raised our family. Is like, man, you know, living in California away from him, I'm back home like, Dad, I want you to, you know, show me how to do this and that. Like, I wish I paid attention anymore, you know? It's like, you show me so much.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, like, we have all these positive examples. A lot of times we take advantage of them. You know, our leaders, our pastors, ministers, you know, our educators. So I think, again, going back to what we're having here, this platform right here is a beautiful example of restoring manhood, communication, you know, connectivity and community. This is beautiful. Like, we need to have more of these happening, because what we see right now in TV, social media, we've been programmed, psychologically tricked, bamboozled, hoodwinked, to pit ourselves against each other. This whole, it's like remnants of the Willie Lynch theory, you know?
Divide and conquer. Divide and conquer.
Exactly. It's like my man said, I forgot, he said, like, he had his job, and, you know, my man, some of the black dudes hating, you know, snitching on him to the white employers. Like, you know, and like my father told me about some other black people hating on his business. Like, this is a lot of that Willie Lynch shit going on.
Come on, man.
It's just whack. You know, we got to move beyond that. You know, we already like, you know, stuff like, you know, hated on.
We already target. So we got to go even extra hard. You know?
Exactly. So these conversations and, like, you know, us coming together and really representing this way is beautiful. Like, so beautiful. You know, and also just it's also shows that we come from
it's
a
therapy.
melanated priesthood. It's therapy. It's therapeutics, medicine. So just this right here. You know, they fear us when we get together, but when they really see what we're doing and start to know us, you know, outsiders, and they're like, okay, it makes more sense. And, you know, it starts to oppose the narrative of what we're taught in the mainstream media, you know, which is like blacks are the savage thieves and animalistic brute,
Right.
whatever, you know.
All
Like,
right, so
anyway.
I want to get to the question in the chat, but shout out to everybody who's tuning in to the Marnese Live Talk Show. Shout out to Kristen, my Bean Aquila, Eric, Lois, Jeffrey. Thanks so much for tuning in. But I have a question about, since we're going to talk about Black women and our relationships with Black men and Black women, there was a question of not many women understand what being submissive means. They take it as being weak or powerless. Can you?
That's not true, though. That's not true. That's not true. If a man gonna represent and do what he need to do, she gonna follow suit, you know. And I don't mean it in a bad way. That's all about restoring manhood, you know, because it's to the point like this. It's like this. The moment that a woman come across a man, she gonna know how far she gonna go within, you know, the first, you know, 5 minutes of contact to a certain degree. And I don't mean in no sexual stuff. I'm talking about as far as if she gonna give a guy the time of day, you know, as far as like, you know, keep it continuing on with whatever communication, whether it's, you know, by phone, text, whatever the case may be, or physically. That's what I mean by that. It's submissive. See, a lot of women get that misconstrued as far as like, you know, being submissive. But if a man being a man, that's, you know, she knows, you know, it's one of those, it's one of those things that, you know, you just feel it, you know, if that makes sense.
Follow-up question. Can a woman be submissive to a man? I mean, can a man be submissive to a woman? Is that about,
say that again?
Can a man be submissive to a woman? If she's, I guess, those gender roles, stereotypes and all that, if she's protecting, providing, bringing stuff to the table, handling business, can a man be submissive?
Yeah, she can do that. She could do that, but hell, at the same time, the man the alpha. And she the alpha woman, but you know, the man's supposed to lead and protect. You know, in most cases, you gotta excuse me, I'm old school with my old school upbringing, you know what I'm saying? But
Hey, that because it helps us define like where everybody's at in their thought process, because
it's all about understanding. It's all about understanding for the most part, you know. Then that's when I forgot who said it, but it's all about that communication rules the nation. If you know how to use effective communication where y'all both, you know, having that common ground and come to some type of agreements and know that you're going to agree to disagree, that's progress right there. That's a start, you know. But at the same time, you know, a man going to be a man. If he really digging that chick, he going to do whatever it's going to take within reason. Within reason to make sure that, you know, she's going to, you know, be like, okay. But then at the same time, you know, if he needs to be checked, hell yeah, check me.
Okay. So I'm going to go to Michael and then Jason, and then I'm going to bring it back over to Russell, Donya, and Delma. So.
White supremacy and anti-blackness has saturated every institution in our life, period. And it has defined our society. My question for you all is, who defined your manhood?
Mm-hmm.
Who actually established your manhood? Who told you that men are supposed to operate in the manner that you all have spoken of, and women are supposed to operate in the manner that they have spoken of, or that you have spoken of? And Brother Johnson, I too am old school. I grew up old school in the South.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to deal with the racism, the patriarchy, and all of it was embedded in black folk, in the black church.
Yeah, I can understand that.
So it saturated my whole life. Now, because I know different, I know that the best way for me and my relationship with my wife is for us to operate as a team.
Flat out.
I'm
One
not
team,
over
one team,
her,
one
she's
dream.
not over me.
Yeah.
We are both submissive to one another because
Flat out.
she has expertise in certain areas and I've got expertise in certain areas.
Yeah.
And so we fall back when it's time for the expert to step up.
Yeah,
If
evenly yoked.
Right.
Evenly yoked.
And it's not about she got expertise with raising the kids and I got expertise with providing. No, it's that she goes out and she works in a certain field, and as a result, she's got some expertise that I don't know. I do the same in my field.
That's powerful.
And the same thing in the home, there are certain things that I can do that she can't do. And it doesn't necessarily mean that she do all the cleaning and I do all the fixing. So I think defining roles, we have to be careful on who we look at and who define our roles, because the way that we have defined these roles tonight and the way that I'm hearing you all define roles, that's white supremacy, brother. That's white folk done shaped the way you look. Look at the way they run their house. And we operate in the same way. And the saddest part is it saturates every institution in our lives just like it does theirs.
But as far as like in the household, man, the woman, she the boss. You know, as far as like, you know, that.
You
as far
still
as
doing it. You
nah,
still
it
defining
ain't it ain't defined. It's the truth as far as like, you know.
It ain't the truth in my house.
Okay.
It ain't mine either.
Let's go to Jason, and then we're gonna go to Jason, and then we're gonna go to Delma and Russell.
So I'm gonna say it like this. You know, Michael, you hit the nail on the head. You know, every man wants to be the alpha male. What happens when that alpha male meets that alpha female?
That's a powerful thing.
That's a power struggle. So when you butt heads like that,
not necessarily.
No, when you butt heads like that, you basically are fighting for control. And if there are two people fighting for control, nobody has the hand on the steering wheel. You fight them. You're not really driving anymore. So basically, if one person is better at if my woman is better at something than I am, I need to sit back and fucking learn, because it's not my turn. And if I finally get it, then you know what? Hey, I got it. You know, I mean, I want to be the one to say, I got this. But sometimes I don't. Shit. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Right. I can say, I don't know how to do this. I'm gonna try and figure it out every time. You know what I'm saying? But she sit back and say, nah, boo, I got you. And you gotta be man enough to say, okay, show me. And you know what I'm saying? I mean, can you let go of the reins? I mean, everybody's not cut like that. You know what I'm saying? Every alpha male is not big enough to sit back and be the beta for a minute until you're ready to continue your role as the alpha male. Every man is not an alpha male. Let's be clear about that.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? But when you pushing everything to the limit, sometimes you need a break. And that's where she come in, to drive for you and let you be able to take a break and say, all right, you got it for me.
Yeah, but that's when y'all supposed to be evenly yoked, you know, when you're on that level with a woman, you know, for the most part.
That's where trust comes in.
Yeah.
Trust and communication.
And communication, because if you don't communicate her, if you don't communicate with her, how you not gonna trust her? How you gonna trust her?
Flat out.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing. I'm agreeing with that. I'm a big believer as far as like communication, man, because that definitely plays a major role. So that way, you know, you got to have some type of common ground, especially when relationships. That's key. That's very key.
So we're gonna go to Delma and then Russell. You guys have any thoughts on this? Because I mean, of course, we're talking about patriarchy, and you know that's rooted in white supremacy culture, and it's intertwined, you know, with, of course, racism, sexism, And it's like we kind of identified that some of us perpetuate these behaviors, and it's ingrained in our belief system. But I wanted to make sure that I went back to Delma and Russell and Donya, if you had any thoughts on this.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Just picking up on what Michael brought up is something I had jotted down in terms of, and I'll take it back to one of your first questions. What is self-black love? I think part of self-black love is being able and willing to examine our ideas about what it means to be in a relationship, what it means to be a man, what it means to be all of these different things, and be willing to scrutinize aspects of that are rooted in white supremacist, patriarchal culture, homophobic culture. When we get into this place where we've defined ourselves, and I would argue every movement we've had historically has made the mistake of shooting itself in the foot by deciding to take on aspects of white supremacist culture, put black manhood in front of everybody else and tell everybody else to shut the hell up. We cannot continue to do that. We can't. And so I think to both love ourselves as individuals and collectively, we have to be willing to hold up our ideas of what it means to be a man, what it means to be a woman, what it means to be all of these things that we just kind of take for granted, and understand, like my brother Michael was saying, white supremacist patriarchal culture is so deeply steeped in every aspect of this society and every institution of this society. And so shit that you just accustomed to taking for granted as truth really needs to be re-examined and scrutinized all over again. Yeah. Because the same things that make us alpha men is the shit that's been killing us for generations. It's alpha men that don't talk about their feelings. It's alpha men that die early because they don't have a sense of community where they can be vulnerable with one another. Vulnerability is something we've ascribed to women, but it's our inability to be vulnerable is what's killing us. And then when we see folks who look like us, who express themselves with a certain level of vulnerability, then we call them sissies and basically shame one another back into silence. We can't keep doing that.
Yep. That's facts.
Yeah, Russell, and then Donya, do you have anything to add to that?
You know, and I hear what all you brothers are saying, and what you're saying is cool, and I'm riding with it. But just one thing is we keep using the term white supremacy, and I don't know if y'all know what the definition of what that means. Do you believe that there's a race that's superior to you? Well, that's the definition if you look it up. So I don't really use white supremacy or whatever. I know what your meaning is, but for me, there's a lot of things that we don't know. And when it comes to things and people that have been kind of running the show for a very long time, it's been that white Caucasian race, and we're playing catch up. And by us playing catch up, we have divided and broken apart for whatever the reason, you know, whatever you want to say that it is. There are so many things that we don't know. We aren't together. And you look at any other race of people, you look at Asians and Latinos and you know, Italians, they're all together. But for some odd reason, we can't quite come together because we end up bickering over things that, not to say that it isn't important, but us coming together seems to be a problem that we have. See, there's things in our past and in our history that we don't even know. You know, we're playing a game of Monopoly but don't know the rules. You can't win the game if you don't know the rules. But yet, I'm not going to tell Kenyan. I ain't going to tell you what I know. I'm going to keep it to myself because I don't want you to get past me and explore beyond me. So I'm going to keep it to myself. So that causes you internally, you create a bomb that you didn't lit the fuse in our own communities. We live in our own communities and we don't own nothing in our own communities. We talking about all this, that, and the third. I know I kind of veered off the track a little bit, but when I hear that white supremacy, it kind of hits me a certain kind of way. How here in LA, we got the Crips and the Bloods. You're fighting over land that you don't even own. Now I look around and I see these Fortune 500 companies. Do you know how many that we own in the Fortune 500 companies? Let me hit you with that. 0. All right. Well, you know what? The representation that we have in the government that you're a part of, whether you believe in voting or not, and say, well, how many representatives that look like me are there in Congress and in the government? If you don't know, let me help you with that. So there's 100 senators if you don't know. In other 100 senators, we got 3 that's black or African American, if you will. It's only been 10 in the history. So we look at things, and we're not even in situations in places to change the rules and the laws that we're governed by. Now I don't want to talk for a whole bit of time, but when I hear white supremacy, it really gets to me, because it's like, well, you know what, man? We sit up here and we talk about, we watch sports and all this, that, and the third, and the majority, 80% of the NBA is black. There's one black owner. One, Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
We don't even own that we're the majority of the league that we're even in. But we bicker about some other things, and they sit back and go, yeah, y'all go ahead and fight over that.
It's all about economics.
And these are the things that in our community we don't talk about. We don't talk about politics. We don't talk about that. You don't talk about finance. Two of the things that run the world. My parents, I'm old school too. I'm in my late 40s too. However, my mama never told me about how finance really works. She never talked about how the government really works, because she didn't know. Because her mama didn't tell her, and her mama didn't tell her. And when we talk about, oh, the young folks, they don't, because we ain't teaching them. So
okay,
if you don't know.
To that point, Russell, okay, you know, we're not teaching them, but we also have to think about the root issue of where that comes from. Most of the kids who go to school, based on the educational system, they are taught government probably at high school, right? And so just understanding government, you probably won't understand until after high school or college if you have a political science course. Now, I'm not going to make an excuse, because I feel like where you're going is that we're making excuses because you are comparing us to other communities of color, right? But we have to think about the systemic and the institutional racism that we are still we're still experiencing today, right? So I understand where you're going, because sometimes I wish we black folks would just get it together, right? But I think it's a conversation about like getting to the root cause, and it's dismantling the white supremacy culture.
Well, I'm saying, so to get to the root cause, we can sit here and talk about, we need to get to the root cause. Yep, we sure do. Yep, we sure do.
About
and
the
we're
actions.
Do something.
It's all about the actions.
We don't do nothing, and we're just talking about it. Listen, we've been free since 1865. What has changed? Where's the movement? What's going on? We're still stuck in the same spot, talking about the same things we was talking about 155 years ago. I got it. We get it. So if you're not being taught something in school, and I got my kids in my house, let me teach you about how things really work. Or I can just send them off to the white school, because that's where like, we can't do nothing about that. We need to move ahead from that and stop using these terms and words that they've been burning into our mind.
That's a cop-out.
Well, exactly. What my man is saying is we got to move forward. And talking about it, yes, we didn't talk about it for years and years and years. If you go back to the 60s, so right now, Malcolm and Medgar Evers and Martin Luther King, they talked about it. We got all that.
You go back as far back as Paul Robeson and W.E.B. Du Bois. If that's the case, it's all about actions now.
We can go back to whenever it is. I mean, there are so many things that when we start moving forward, and whatever it is that throws the monkey wrench that keeps us behind, you know, I get a little riled up when I hear
you got passion. I can see that
we use, and yet we skip over certain things.
Okay,
you know.
So, Donya, I'm gonna go to you. No, I hear you. I really hear you. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to Donya, and then we'll come back to Jason.
Yeah. I want to say that because we was talking about the woman and the stuff and being submissive. I don't like that word. That word, it sucks. We shouldn't even have that word. Submissive, like, to me, it's witchcraft. You know what I'm saying? That's a word of control. Like the pastor said, you know, we a team. And the revelation I got is like, in the Bible say, the man is the head and the woman is the body. That's a team. I can't do what the body do. The body can fucking run, fight. The body can do more than the head. The head can't do nothing but think, you know what I'm saying, and see. Like the lighthouse. The lighthouse is the same thing, the body and the head, the light looking out. Like, we don't get it. We a team, and that's what's wrong. Even not just with the black men, the black women too. We don't even understand we a team like that. You know what I'm saying? We a team. We not only are we husband and wife, you know what I'm saying? We really, the representation of is really family. We husband and wife. Yeah, my wife and me, you know what I'm saying? I'm her dad now. You know, she my mom now. I'm her brother. She my sister. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why the arguing go. The brother and sister relationship that's the part of what we argue in marriage and stuff about, you know, because we live with each other all day. You know, I get on my sister's nerves. You know, if you got any brothers and sisters, you understand.
How long you been married?
I've been married. It's gonna be 10 years. We've been together 12. You know what I'm saying?
Positive.
I had one before this, and I lasted that one. You know what I'm saying? 6. You know what I'm saying? So I got some experience out here for real. But like I said, if we operate like that.
I can respect that.
The woman taking on her role as the body. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't about no. Because I want to give this example. One time I was down in Dothan, Alabama. Yeah, me and my wife, we lived down there for a second. I was in here playing Madden with this guy. Yeah, I was playing Madden with this guy for some money. And we playing, and I'm up, you know what I'm saying? I'm winning. If I leave, my wife is ready to go. If I leave, the money his. But he just wanted to beat me. You know how men do. I want to get the money, and I want to beat you too, the pride thing. So this man going to say this. My wife is like, man, you know, I'm ready to go. I'm like, all right, forget it. This beginning of the 4th quarter. I'm like, forget it. Oh boy, black man, he gonna say, oh, I see who wear the pants in this relationship. Everybody in the barbershop, we in a barbershop, they laugh. But me, I'm a man. I said, yeah, she do. And I wear them too, you know what I'm saying? I never put on a skirt. I don't know how to do that. You know what I'm saying? But because what if I get sick? Like I wrote down here, you know, you got to teach her how to beat a head just in case. Just in case, you can't go out and buy a Mustang and it's a fucking manual, and that's it. She don't know how to drive it, and you get sick. You got to go to the hospital. You through. You got to pay that. You either got to pay that big ambulance bill, or you teach her how to drive this. You teach her how to like do a team.
All right.
That's all I gotta say, man. Facts.
All right, but so before we get to some action items, because I like where Russell was going with that, because we have to move towards action. Otherwise, we're going to keep talking about this, and I'm honestly tired of that too. Us having these same conversations, like we need to move some things forward. But Jason, I want to go back to you, and then we can do a round of what we can offer to move our communities forward and having better relationships with women, and of course ourselves and our brothers. So Jason, go ahead.
One thing Russ said that actually resonated with me that I, you know what I'm saying, wanted to just basically say something to was, you know, if we're gonna move forward, you know, it's okay to talk, to acknowledge the things of our past that actually need to be acknowledged, you know, but like moving, we need to talk about the things that did happen to us. We need that to be taught to us. But we also need to be taught to us the things to actually move forward. Because like financial, you know, so stock, or, you know, so things that we as black people do not do on a normal, you know, Jordans, all right, we do that. You know,
we don't do that stuff because they say that's white people stuff.
Right, and that's the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, why don't we? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? I just got into stocks real good. You know what I'm saying? And it's not as easy as everybody wants to talk about. I mean, it ain't as hard though. That's the thing. And you know, I mean, but when you want to talk about moving forward with women relationships and black men and men to man relationship, the only thing we really need to do is respect each other enough to actually be able to have a conversation, to approach each other.
Breaking up again, Jason. So I'm gonna go to Delma because we're gonna be wrapping up soon. I want to make sure I respect everybody's time. But Delma, did you want to offer anything of how black men can work with each other, because
real time.
Everybody can't be the alpha man. Oh, you're back, Jason.
Did I do that? Damn. Me and this Xfinity boy, I'm telling you.
I just turned my
Wi-Fi, man.
I know, man.
New router.
No, what I said, you know what I'm saying, but basically I said, Kiyoshi, you said communication rules the nation. Basically, you know what I'm saying, if we can't have a conversation and then get to a point where either we have to agree to disagree, and this is white, black, anybody, agree to disagree and continue to move forward peacefully together, even though we bump heads, and that's women as well, men and women. If we can't do that and then continue to keep going, we won't proceed as a human race. You know what I'm saying? We're just basically gonna fight each other until we blow up the whole thing.
That's it.
Right.
All right, so I'm gonna go to Delma, and then we can do a round of what we can offer, you know, people who are viewing. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in to the Marnese Talk Show. But the thing is, how do we keep these conversations going to move into action, right? Like, too much is happening right now, and we're seeing it with Black people in general. But I want us to be able to like move things forward, because everybody can't be the alpha male, right? Dr. King was surrounded by a whole bunch of probably alpha males, but he was the one out there, right? He was the leader, right? So it's like, how do Black men, what are some suggestions? Because you have generations that are following behind all of us that, of course, need guidance and are looking for guidance. And we need to be making sure that we offer things to them and suggestions, because sometimes it's hard to get in conversations like these because everybody have their own point of view, right? Everybody, their alpha or their manhood shows up, and everybody just can't strategically move forward like the white men are doing, right? Now, I don't think all those Republicans like Donald Trump. I'm gonna be real about it, okay? But they moving their agenda forward. So I wanted to go to Delma before we go around to everybody else. You got to unmute yourself, Delma.
I was done. I think having an analysis of the past presences us in the present and gives us guidance for the future. I'll say that first. And I think somebody else echoed a similar statement earlier. One of the things that I'm challenged with doing right now is doing a lot of research in terms of where a lot of our social movements have historically broken down. So that very thing you were just talking about, like, how can I work with anybody when we see the world so differently? Like, where are the spaces we can agree on and build from there? So for me, I'm really interested in community building, and I mean from the ground up.
Right.
I'm really interested in reparations as a way of paying for it. I'm really interested in green technology. I'm really interested in making sure that the physical landscape is accessible to anybody, regardless of their physical, mental abilities, right? Like, how can you cast the widest net from the ground up and build a society or a community that's actually interested in maximizing the full potential of every single person in that community, instead of trying to pour all your resources into this group or that group? I'm not a big fan of capitalism, but I live in a capitalistic world. So learning stocks, learning some of the things that have come up from some of these other brothers, you got to do that, right? I'm also a pragmatist.
Yeah.
So it's like, how can I keep one foot in the world as it is while simultaneously imagine something very different? And instead of constantly responding to the attacks, how can I give folks an actual vision to work toward? Because right now, historically, we've just been in response mode.
Right.
I'm ready to dream into something different.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's learning what people have done before, what worked, what doesn't, build from that, and just keep these conversations going. That's all I got for now.
Beautifully said.
Thank you, Delma. Kiyoshi, you want to add in?
I love everything that Delma just said. I mean, I 100% agree with what I heard. We don't want to end up in cycles. I hear that's like the recurrent thing that we are all talking about and agree upon. Just we keep, we're talking about it, but where's the action? Where's the change? It's more about, I feel like, just taking what we're doing to the next level, more community, just like more of this, maybe mentoring somebody, offering mentorship, providing our support. What I've been doing, what I've really been coming back to is, how I can be of service to the world. How can I be of service to the less fortunate, impoverished, the underprivileged people in urban communities. That question has been coming up to me more so. And when I really operate from that space, it's like I get more, I give more, and it's like a win-win for everybody, So really like being of service. So what comes to mind is my father just told me a couple months ago, the 4 Ps, men serving, showing up in the world as the priest, the protector, the provider, and the pursuer, relationships and in life. I think that's really important just to keep in mind. Another thing is just a couple of M words: meditation, mindfulness, and movement. Finding a place of silence. There's so much chaos. I'm a big yogi. I've been doing yoga for the past 8 years, and it's really dramatically influenced my life and really took everything I do to the next level. And with that is just silence, meditation. There's so much chaos. It's just, we need to reset, what we innately do when we get like sporadic and out of whack, we take a breath. Our bodies want to do this. So I think that's just an example, a metaphor of what we need to do in life, our relationships, communication. One person can't just be like, It has to be like silence. I'm a musician. There's beauty in the silence, da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Like the drum beat, there's rhythm, like allowing life to be a rhythm, how surfers ride waves. So meditation, mindfulness, like really being mindful with our words, the 4 agreements, that's a really important book. If we live by that, relationships will greatly enhance. For me, it's done that. And then movement, whether playing ball or, hooping, wrestling, moving, just dancing. I love dancing. Like I dance a lot, and that's really therapy for me. And I'm a performer again. So I'm like singing, rapping, dancing, poetry, dancing. It's like, that's my therapy. So whatever works for you, I think if we can do that individually, then also with groups.
Let me hear some.
That's it. You want to hear some?
Come on, give me some of that poetry real quick.
Marnese wants
to got 1 minute.
30 seconds. I don't want to take up time, but I'm down to always spit bars.
You can have my time. He can have my time.
Hold on. Let me get to everybody else.
Yeah, get to everybody. I want you to speak, man.
If you want to,
that's my spiel.
We'll definitely do that.
Yeah, bless.
Oh my gosh. Jason, Kenyon, Russell, do you have anything to offer our viewers on how we can move our communities forward? I think, Jason, you did go, but
let me say this then real quick before I my little spotty internet, it just went out, so I think I'm good. I'm saying, like, I was taught something back, when I was, trying to be a Q. I still live by this. I can soon learn to do it if you let me see it done. I can watch your hands in motion, but your tongue too fast may run. Now, that's something that I live by. Because I think we as a community need to be able to mentor, show people how to actually do something. Apprenticeship is something that's real. If you're going to build up, instead of being crabs in a barrel and lift as we climb, we need to be able to move people to the positions that we are in so that we can progress. Because it's not all about us being the best. It's about us bringing everybody with us as we keep going. So, that's kind of what I had to say.
Thank you so much, Jay. Soprano-Que Brown. All right. Kenyon, would you like to go and offer something?
It's all about accountability as an individual, first and foremost. Whatever, talents, gifts that you can, contribute out here. And like I said, I'm going to keep reiterating, it's all about restoring manhood first and foremost, because we ain't being taken seriously out here, obviously. But at the same time, if you hold yourself accountable for your actions, you got to be about it. But then at the same time.
But women more important than men. Let me say that.
Mike, we gonna get there, okay?
I'm pretty much speaking from a man's point of view because I'm a man. Yeah, I got strong women in my family.
I'm not. We can't do the shit women do out here. We gotta look at it from a spiritual aspect.
Yeah.
That's why we gotta be a team. But
at the same,
what can we do? It's like dogs. We can't do nothing but have sex, think, and be competitive. Women can do so much stuff, and the stuff we can do. We gotta respect them first. That's all I'm saying. it ain't about no. I'm just saying it sounds like you promoting the manhood thing and stuff.
I am promoting manhood, but at the same time, I'm not disrespecting.
Our manhood is in our women.
But by all means, I'm not disrespecting a woman. But at the same time, you know, you look at, we all know what's been going on. We all know what's been going on. So yeah, it's time for to restore manhood. You know, because you got a certain crowd. You know, we ain't been taken serious. But I never, by all means, I never said about, you know, disrespecting women, you know, because I got too many strong women in my family to know better than doing that, you know, first and foremost. But, you know, it's all about communication, and then whoever you can rock with them, you know, no matter, you know, it's all about finding that common ground so that way we can, you know, be accountable, let your actions speak for yourself. But then everything starts from home. The first education starts from home first and foremost.
That's facts.
And even if you ain't getting it, you know, like it's needed as far as like nurturement, then that's when you come a certain age where you gotta be willing to explore, to learn and learn more. I take it from you know, because I'm a firm believer in the
your wife can give you that. Your wife can give you that nurturement. That's what she's there for.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about as far as like these young cats, man, that ain't even thinking about getting married first and foremost, man.
But we gotta teach them about that.
If you would let me finish what I gotta say, I can, you know, I was elaborating on that. You know what I'm saying?
My bad, Flint Tom.
You know, all respect though, all respect, because you've been saying some key stuff. You know, a lot of stuff that you were saying, I agree with. You by all means, but I'm saying as far as like a man, you know, because we're men. I can't do what a woman do. A woman can't do what a woman can't stand up and pee straight. As far as I know. As far as I know, you know what I'm saying, you know, but at the same time, it's all about, and as far as like relationships, you got to find somebody that you evenly yoked with, but that's a process. That's going to be an ongoing, you know, I take it from me, 46, never been married, would love to be married, and it'll come when it comes, but at the same time, I got to get my stuff together, first and foremost, as a man. And at the same time, if you know, it's gonna be a time where she got to, you know, I'm gonna take the lead, and then I'm gonna have to take a step back, so that way she can do what she need to do. But you know, as long as you comfortable with it, and you could in the same token,
and you could do all that, and you still gonna struggle because marriage is a faith walk. Every day is different.
Exactly, but that's why I was getting at. It's all about for the individual. No matter what you practice, you know, I came up in a Christian, you know, background, but more so now these days, I'm more on the metaphysical type of, you know, studies as far as like, you know, studying that. But I'm definitely a man of faith though, because once you got that supernatural faith covering you, you ain't gonna stress about too much what's going on with the COVID. You know, with everything that's going on, you know, with the police attacks and stuff like that, you just got to, you know, handle yourself accordingly out here, man. But just represent. Yeah, but you got to bring up the youth, because they coming after us. You know, first and foremost, you got to lead by example.
Right. All right, so Mike and Donya, we're gonna have a separate call for you two, but we're gonna go to Russell right now. See, I had to mute y'all on my own show.
I apologize, but I got passion for it, and I do appreciate being on this panel.
You know, we want to respect everybody's time, and we want to come on, Russell.
I'm done.
Our man who's gonna move us to action.
I say this. You know what? In much respect to all the brothers here, and I'm so appreciative of being on this show and being able to talk, because I think this is something that we really, really need. For me, what it is that I do, for those that will listen, is I teach about money, and I teach about government, and teach about how the world works. Whether you want to be a part of a capitalistic society or not, you are. So whether you want to be that, it is what it is. But if you don't understand something, and it's something that we don't know, I can stand inside of a barbershop and a brother will give me a rundown of Michael Jordan, all of his stats, and I ask him, "How's your portfolio looking?" And look at me and go, "What?"
Right.
Okay. Well, you know, I mean, these are things that I feel that is an element that has been missing from us for a very, very long time. So the capital that we need to make decisions, you know, how people can go out, folks that are wealthy, they can say whatever they want to say because they got them options, because they have the capital that's backing them. Well, you don't say this because you lose your job. Don't say that because you lose your gig. And teaching others how to effectively build wealth and put you and your others that are in your circle in a better position. So those are the things that I look for, that I try as far as a person myself. Like, brother, if you listen, man, hey, man, I'll let you know. You know,
Spread the wealth.
Where I'm at with that. Spread the wealth, and also spread the knowledge. I'm not sure who said it, but knowing where we came from, you know, the things.
I said that.
You know, a lot of us, our history didn't start at slavery. It didn't start in 1619. It was before that. But most of us don't know that. Don't know what happened, and et cetera, et cetera. So those things are some of the things that I like to sit down and talk to people about if they're willing to listen, and have those building conversations. You know, go forward and pass that information on to somebody for free. And then I'm going to charge you for something. Hey, man, you want to know, brother, I'll tell you. You know, I'm going to teach you how to fish. And that's how I am.
It's all about economics these days.
Yep.
Yes,
I agree with
He
you.
said and not charging them. So that means, so what he's saying, we can't be taking up no offerings, but anything. Anyway, go ahead.
That free information, though, I need to get with you on that, though. We can vibe on that. We can vibe on that.
Whatever you want to know, brother, I will give you.
Don't get muted again, y'all. So we're gonna have.
My bad.
We're gonna have Brother Michael Malcom bring us home, and then Kiyoshi, if you feel up to it, you know, to grace us with some poetry, please, by all means. But you don't have to. You know, I'm not paying, but you know.
Right.
Michael, did you want to bring us home?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll just say briefly, it's important that we surround ourselves not just with people who are like-minded, but we need to surround ourselves with people who don't necessarily think the same way that we do, because they challenge and stretch us.
Yes.
And I would invite each and every one of you all to both surround yourselves with those with people who don't necessarily think like you, but as well as I would also caution us to investigate everything, trust but verify, and that's in society. Period. We've talked about a whole lot of we don't do this and we don't do that. We don't build wealth, but the reality is there's systemic issues that cause us to be behind. And if we look at our individual actions and not look at the collective, we'll miss the point all the time. And we'll continue to have these conversations and continue to march and continue to have uprisings and really just let out our emotions because of the effects of the systemic racism and anti-Blackness that we do face. And so I think that we should go and we should really, I will caution us rather, to go back and really look at the things that we have named tonight as saying that they are our embedded beliefs, because they're not necessarily our beliefs. It's a system that has caused us to believe these things. And so that's all I would have to say. And again, thank you to Marnese. I consider this to be an honor. I consider it to be an honor to be amongst you all and have appreciated you all as well. Thank you.
All right. Well, I want to thank you all so much again for coming on to the Marnese Live Talk Show. This was really good. And I just ask everybody to listen. Of course, it's going to replay on my page, but also listen again to the recording, because we all offered something. And I really want to hit on what Michael said. Have a conversation with someone who you may not necessarily agree with, right? Because this is how how we move forward, and this is how we can change.
Right. Find that common ground.
Right.
Yeah.
So I wanted to leave this there, and I want to say thank you all so much for staying on and being on the Marnese Live Talk Show. So Kiyoshi, if you want to.
Come on, baby. Come
Come on,
on,
I
with
gotta
the
spit some
bars,
bars.
baby.
Come on.
Yeah,
Go ahead and
bars,
bring it.
bars.
Go ahead and
Yo,
bring it.
Time
Go
for
ahead
them
and bring it.
bars.
I
Go
stuck
ahead.
around for this.
She put you.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
put you
Baby
out there
bars,
like that.
baby.
So go
Give it
ahead
to
and bring it, man.
That's what I
Bring
do.
it.
I
Yo,
did it
check.
out there. Kiyoshi,
Let's go.
I did that.
Yo, all right. Ain't no other way that I'm gonna do it when I give it to you. Start a revolution with the music, better know. You can never tell me how to get up on the mic when I maneuver, level like they calling me untouchable. Supernova, big star, big boss like Rick Ross, make you lift off, jumping like crisscross. CEO in charge, I'll code and I'll go beyond the mind like Wim Hof. Yo, I'ma do me. Flow like a cool breeze, watch it like a movie, influencing a new breed, and now you think, see, none of y'all can move me. Yo, it's about time that a new generation steps up and deliver the message. The people want more. What are we waiting for? Let's go another direction. I'm here to empower y'all. I don't need Adderall, Percocets, no pharmaceutical pills. I'm superhuman with skill. I don't need no drug abuse that'll kill for real. I am the source of abundance. I am the source of our wealth. Every part of me I'm loving. I fully accept myself. I am unstoppable, overcoming obstacles. I am powerful, yes. Overflowing, radiating joy. Use my voice in order to bless. I declare financial freedom. I feel the happiness now. And
Natural
perfect alignment
entertainment.
receiving. Compassion that travels for miles. Love unconditional, healing through miracles. Prolific lyrics gonna hit you though. Deserve the best in my life. Though I may fall down like the walls of Jericho. But I know who I am. And I feel something I'm gonna keep going within because I am so potent when I'm flowing, even though I go through these sins and I'm setting some trends. And you know that we blend together as the divine masculine. We keep it going because I'm a rap again. My album gonna go platinum when I sell out, but I don't sell out because I let my soul go out because you know that I'm moving like Martin and Malcolm. Gotta give a shout out to Kenyon Johnson and Michael Malcolm. Yo, and Martin Luther, I do it right now because I begin to do what I gotta do because I am the truest. Every time I spit it and I flow like fluid, I'm gonna do it from here to the Black Hoods. I gotta give a shout out because we all rising up in our economics and our divine manhood, like Kenyon Johnson just said earlier. We gotta spread love and stop acting like these criminals and murderers because we are divine royal hood, brother, a priesthood of melanin. Every time I spit it for the fellas, it's us spreading these elements of hip hop and we don't stop. It's like that, y'all. I'm gonna spit for you and y'all right here in the Marnese Live Talk Show. Like, yeah.
Fantastic. That's fantastic.
Hey, man, that was
That's
dope.
fantastic.
Thanks, y'all.
Why you
Appreciate
ain't say
it.
my name, brother? Why you
Yeah,
ain't say my name?
oh yeah, I was about to say. I was waiting my way over there.
You say everybody's name but my name, man. What's trash, dog? What's up with that?
I had it.
That man ain't say my name either, man.
Kanye had you, man. I was getting there.
Oh, man.
Yeah, this was cool.
Kanye
This was
Morris, Rush
cool.
Rabb.
This whole situation is cool, man. I can dig that. I can dig it.
It was.
Hey, y'all have a good one, man. It was nice meeting you all.
All right.
Take it easy.
Oh, hey,
Likewise.
Thanks again to Marnese.
Where you at down south?
Birmingham. Yeah, when you said Dothan, I was like, oh man, don't do me like that.
I don't
I'm in Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Yeah, man.
Tuscaloosa, everywhere down there.
Yeah.
Years worth. It's
That's
hot.
what's up,
you
man.
hot, ain't you?
What's that?
I said, you hot down there, ain't you?
Yeah, man. And listen, I'm getting ready to go sit out on my back porch and drink me a beer right now.
There you go.
Hey, drink one for
There you
me.
go.
All right, y'all.
Yeah,
Much love.
All right.
Thanks again, Marnese. Peace out, y'all.
Thank you
All right.
for coming
Yes.
on. All right. So next week on the Marnese Live Show, we will have a conversation with Black women and get their perspectives, right? So tune in to the Marnese Live Talk Show next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Marnese Live Talk Show. I would like to once again thank everyone for being on the show. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Facebook at the Marnese Live Talk Show and on Instagram and on Twitter. So I would like to thank everybody for tuning in. Be safe and power to the people.